Hello again, Roy.RealEstate here with Coldwell Banker Legacy in San Angelo. Last time I talked a little bit about the fracking process on an oil well and some interesting stuff like that, and again, layman's terms, because that's as far as I can go. But today I want to kind of go into just some statistics, some of just the quantities of things that are used in some of these wells, just kind of give you a picture of the scale of it, and then talk a little bit about the environmental and economic effects, which are obviously huge. So, first thing, we're talking about those fracs, and in one of the longer laterals, they've been known to use as much as 50 million pounds of sand and 25 million gallons of water. So there's huge amounts of materials that they're putting down into those fracs. The average is about 1,700 18-wheeler trips to a well site to deliver all those, because most of them are coming in by a truck. So I mean, there's some serious stuff going on. Lots of jobs because of that, but lots of use of the roads. I mean, you hear government officials talking about road use and taxes and stuff. Well, that's why. Every one of those wells is doing 1,700 trips by truck, not to mention all the pickups and all the other stuff going out there. That stuff adds up, lots of trips. So you think of 25 million gallons of water going into one of these frac jobs, you think, gosh, they must be using huge amounts of water, and they are, but they aren't. Relative to everything else, they're not. I mean, it is a huge amount of usage. But last year, the oil well fracking accounted for about 1% of the national water usage, so it's really not that much. Interestingly, coal-fired power plants, the cooling for them uses about 35% of the water used in the United States. The other two huge users are agriculture for irrigation and residential use in cities. So those are the big users. It's the cooling plants, agriculture use, and cities just for residential use, the water you drink every day. So those are the big users. The other interesting thing with that is how the industry, and they're doing it because of expense, not environmental reasons, but they're learning to reuse more and more of the water as the process goes off. They figure out ways to clean up the water because it's less expensive for them to clean up the water and reuse it in the next frac job than it is to keep hauling new water in, buying the water and transporting it in. So it's huge effects on it. People have talked about the safety of fracs and what if the possibility of chemicals or stuff getting into the water supply, and you know, honestly, it's one of those, you look at one side, so you think it's a horrible risk, that every well is a legitimate danger to the people living around it. And you listen to the oil industry talk about it, and it's like, well, it's just impossible. It could never happen. And obviously the truth is somewhere in between those. But when they go down, when they're drilling the vertical part of the well, and that they will go through some formations that have water in them. But all those are cased and cemented. So unless there's a leak or something in the casing or the cement, that the chemicals or any of this stuff can get out. And if there's a leak, when they're pressuring them like this, they're going to be able to tell because stuff's not going where it should be going. So there is some risk there, obviously, but there's been no documented evidence of it occurring, particularly in any numbers, any orders of magnitude. So it's a difficult situation. You know, there's environmental impacts of all the traffic coming out there and whatnot, and you know, just trips on the roads, all those kind of things, and the human impact from traffic accidents and all those type of things. So that's it. But the other thing is, you look at the exploding population, numbers of people that are employed, particularly in the Middle and Odessa area, but even it's back down to San Angelo, that, you know, oil and gas is probably a substantial portion of the economy of San Angelo. And, well, I don't know if it's 15 or 25%, somewhere in that range would be my guess. So it has a clear impact on the city of San Angelo and the areas around it, housing values, all those type of things. So there's some serious economic benefits over this area. I mentioned it before, but it's just astounding to me how large the oil reserves are. There's more known oil reserves today in the Permian and Delaware basins out in the Middle and Odessa area than there was in the entire world as far as known reserves. Those were already there, but we didn't know about them. And there was known oil reserves in the 90s. So, you know, that we're going to run out of oil stuff, and what we're finding out is no, there's more oil out there now. We know of more oil out there now than we did 20 or 30 years ago, and we're finding new ways of extracting it and finding it all the time, and ways of being more environmentally friendly. And as you look at environmental stuff, people always talk about the solar and wind energy as being very green, but if you look at the actual impact on the environment of the things they're doing, it's really a lot more on a per kilowatt hour basis than it is if you're using petroleum products for generating power, for whatever uses, making plastics, running your car, all those kind of things. So the electrics are great, but particularly when you get into the battery storage for them, then those are using a bunch of rare earth minerals that have to be mined, so there's a huge environmental impact. If you look at the crater they dig under one of those huge wind turbines before they build one of them, and the amount of stuff, foreign materials going into the ground there, it's a phenomenal environmental impact there. And so you just got to be aware that it's real simple, and we do want to protect our environment because it's an everyday thing. But you're balancing the economic impacts versus the environmental impacts, and realizing that it's not like oil is bad from an environmental point of view and solar and wind are good. They all have environmental cost. And you just got to weigh those against the benefits of them, and how much do you want lights, air conditioning, plastic, metal, all those kind of things that are produced as a result of it. So it's a complicated thing where most people try to make it real simple and sound bites. This is bad, this is good. It doesn't work that way in the world. So it's a complicated thing, but oil has a huge impact on our economy and on the things going on around us. So just a little updates for people to know just a little bit more about how the process works and some of the statistics. So got any questions, give me a call, Roy.RealEstate, 325-268-0775. Thank you.